Vice President Vance on the world stage at the Munich Security Conference. Attorney General Pam Bondi is there as well, representing the United States. She was in attendance for this very powerful speech by Vice President Vance. She joins us on that and more in moments. And as Vance did with AI earlier this week, he was pretty forceful in his message of the Trump-Vance policy and warning European leaders that there is, quote, nothing more urgent than the issue of mass migration. He said that yesterday's brutal attack on the streets of Munich, when a 24-year-old Afghan refugee plowed into a crowd, injuring dozens, should be a wake-up call.
The number of immigrants who entered the EU from non-EU countries doubled between 2021 and 2022 alone, and of course, it's gotten much higher since. And we know this situation, it didn't materialize in a vacuum. It's the result of a series of conscious decisions made by politicians all over the continent and others across the world over the span of a decade. I can't bring it up again without thinking about the terrible victims who had a beautiful winter day in Munich ruined. How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction?
Strong words from the Vice President, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, as I mentioned, attended that speech. She is meeting with counterparts and national security officials at the Munich Security Conference. As you can see, it is late evening there. Attorney General Bondi, thank you. Welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
So tell me your reaction and the reaction in that room to Secretary Vance's very pointed statements about what has been allowed to happen with mass migration and the impact on so many of our allies.
Yeah, Martha, I can tell you the Americans in the room loved the speech, but he did a great job. I was in the front row with Keith Kellogg and Tulsi Gabbard, and he did an incredible job. And, you know, Martha, he talked also about free speech. And free speech is the bedrock that holds us together around the world. And, you know, if you're in the UK and you're being arrested for peacefully protesting outside an abortion clinic, or if you can go to jail for posting a meme on X, that has to stop. It's impacting free speech around the world, these actions, and he was very strong on that. You know, I was also briefed today on the horrible attack that happened here. And it's you know, people are still reeling from that. So many people were injured. You know, someone's expected to die from it, and it's really horrific what happened here.
So tell me a little bit about the reaction in Europe, because it's my understanding that there are a lot of questions about President Trump, about the new administration, about how these different administrations in Europe should be approaching all of this. What are you picking up there in terms of what's on their minds, Attorney General?
You know, from my perspective, law and order and violent crime, I've been meeting with my counterparts, and people are so happy to have us there. We're working on things that we can work together on. That's what we're discussing, whether it's the drug epidemic around this world. You know, fentanyl's about to hit Germany, especially when we eradicate it in the US. It's going to hit this country. It's going to hit the EU. And we're committed to work together on that and all violent crime, counterterrorism efforts. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Interpol and Europol. And so it's very important that we work together as a team around the world. And that's our shared value, keeping America safe. Free speech is so important, and Vice President Vance was not scared to get up there and talk to them about it today.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on here in the United States and the pushback that the administration is getting on a number of fronts, whether it be the ability of DOJ to look into the books at the treasuries, which has been frozen as of right now. Your reaction to that, those many, I think 19 attorneys general who are bringing suit against that investigation, against opening those books.
Yeah, they will fail. It's the president's right to control the budget. And these are our tax dollars that have been squandered away, Martha. Look what happened at U.S. aid. It's really remarkable that every American isn't outraged by what's happened at USAID. When we work our entire lives to pay taxes, and then you find out that $2 million is going to Guatemala for sex changes, that's not going to happen. And the same way with the Treasury. Where is that money going? The President of the United States has a right to know, and we will be successful. He's going to balance our budget. That's what this is about.
You know, it's very interesting to me.
The squander and the waste has ended.
That to see these states bringing suits about the information that is in that Treasury database, and they're saying that it's on concerns of hacking if that database gets shared or looked into. And I'm wondering, you know, based on what you just said, and when we look at the amount of fraud in the budget, sometimes $200, $300 billion in fraudulent payments that go out, do you see a potential for other states to decide that they want to sue the Treasury for not spending their tax dollars responsibly? I mean, could you see a flip of this suit?
Yeah, well, the president's going to prevail, sure, but the president, of course, is going to prevail. He's looking out for our tax dollars, and it's absurd that that's their best argument. Oh, we're worried about hackers. There's a reason they don't want the president nor Elon Musk to see what's happening at the Treasury, just like they didn't want us to see what was going on at USAID.
Well, I wonder if people are going to start suing for their tax dollars being ill-spent. Last question for you, because it's getting a lot of attention, at least here in New York. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, very upset about the dropping of the charges against Eric Adams, saying that the internals of the case were not properly reviewed. This is what she said last night to Rachel Maddow. Watch.
You look at what happened here. This is not supposed to happen in our system of justice. The Bondi administration in that Department of Justice is already showing they're corrupt.
I want to give you a chance to respond to those suggestions, Pam.
Yeah, well, first, she's not very happy that I sued her yesterday. We sued her and Letitia James and DMV in New York. So she's not happy over that. We sued her 2 days ago, actually. So she's not happy about that. But listen, we have a right to protect the weaponization, against weaponization in New York and every state in this country, and also national security. What did Eric Adams announce today? That he's going to open Rikers Island for these illegal immigrants. When did they go after him? When he started criticizing the Biden administration. He criticized them for all of their immigration practices. New Yorkers aren't safe, and Eric Adams is going to keep New York safe. You know, they took away his security clearance, which he's about to get back, so he can help keep New York safe. Whether Kathy Hochul's going to enforce it, the mayor of New York will enforce it.
So at this point, though, the case has not been dropped, actually, because of this pushback. What happens in that?
Yeah, Martha, I'm on a different time zone, but it's my understanding it is being dismissed today.
Okay, we'll be watching. Attorney General Pam Bondi in Munich, Germany for the Munich Security Conference. Attorney General, great to have you with us. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.